Hi guys, I just wanted to make a part 2 of my video called My Woodgasifier, It Works and How to Build It. I noticed my first one just really wasn't as thorough as I would have liked, so I just wanted to show you a few more things, add some dimensions and some blueprints, and maybe where I got some of the parts. Because I noticed I didn't really add enough information in there to show you guys how to really make one that will work for you. So this is the whole reactor really. The top is the bowl, I'll call it, just because it looks like a bowl with the air inlets there. And then we got the choke plate and then the reduction tube. And then below that is the plate with the grate in it. There's the bowl again with the holes put in it and the choke plate welded on. And there's a top view of it with a choke plate there, and I'm going to add a blueprint for the size of that here. And there's the choke plate blueprint right there. That's what I used. Those are the dimensions I used for this. And these are all really critical dimensions right here with the air inlets and the choke plate and the reduction tube below that. Those are critical dimensions. So there's the air jets. And there's a top view of that bowl with the jets. And those are pretty critical dimensions right there. And there's the reduction tube and the grate plate below that. And then you have the 1.5 inch hole to the right of that for your 90-degree. There's your blueprint for the reduction tube. And there's a top view of the reduction tube with the grate plate. And like I was saying, that 1.5 inch hole to the right is for your 90-degree fitting. 1.5 inch. And that's actually how I actually made these slots. I drilled each side of the slot, and then I just continued with the cutoff wheel. And then I used a 3/8 inch burr to straighten out those slots. And that was kind of a pain, but someone had to do it. And that took some work. And there's just another view of those slides for you. That's where the ash is just going to come right out of there. And there's the metal guides, which I have blueprints of all that. Right there is the guides, the grate guides. And I used, I think, 5/16 18 bolts. You can use a 1/4 20 if you want. The grate plate. Another view of the grate plate. And I just offset that 30 degrees, which I wrote down on that blueprint right there. And that's actually upside down now, and that's the grate container there on top, which I slip rolled that. And I do have a blueprint of that also, which I'll show you in a minute. That's the bottom plate. And that's the ash containment piece that I rolled myself. And that's really the finished product again. And you really should see my part 1 video also, because that shows you how this gets installed into the 30-gallon tanks. So you really need to see part 1 with this part 2 video, my Woodgasifier and it works, and how to build it. That's a 1-inch union fitting right there. That's where my 10-inch rod's gonna go in to connect to those slide grates. And I just bolted that bottom plate right on there. I like to be able to get in there if I need to, if something breaks down on me. And there's another view of that 1-inch union right there. You can see from the bottom here that it's going to connect to that sliding grate there with just, I got a nut welded on in there, so it'll just screw right in there, and that's been working quite well. And that's what you'll get at the end if everything goes well. I've tested this quite a few times and it starts great. I can usually get a flame that stays lit anywhere between 3 and 5 minutes, depending on the wood's moisture content. I also noticed that depending on what kind of wood I'm burning, the flame kind of changes colors. For pine, it seems to be more orange and still with some blue. But then when I put oak in it, which is what you're seeing right now, it's quite blue and quite clear in the daylight. So, and that's just with a standard straw filter with a canvas laundry bag wrapped around it. So, like I said before, if you really want to see how to put this thing together, I would recommend watching my first video also with this second video. And it'll really show you how to install this reactor inside this 30-gallon barrel.